Alright, we're going to jump right into this. This is a battery replacement for the Asus ZenBook model UX330UA. The model number for this one is C31N1602. And the battery goes in like this when you're actually working on your computer. It goes in, the writing down, and that wiring should be to the left. So, and you'll notice the red wire should be on the outside, and the black wires should be on the inside of the bend. This one came with tools. I didn't use them. And use a magnetic tray or something to keep organized. You don't want to lose all the screws that are involved. And use either compressed air or a manual duster to dust out everything. It's going to be really dusty in there. So since you're in there, you might as well clean it all out. Clean out the fan especially. So the actual bit I'm going to be using for the outside casing is a T5. The actual battery will be a Ph1, and the ribbon inside that we need to remove to get the battery out is a Ph0. So those are the three tools you're going to need: a T5, Ph1, and a Ph0. That middle screw right there is going to be longer than the rest, so take note of that. It's the one where the hinge is. You see the hinge right at the top there. That middle one is longer than the rest of them, as you can see. Those suckers are kind of torqued in there. And now we need to flip it around because we need to remove the feet. There's two more screws hidden. Why they did this, I don't know. For security purposes, I assume. You do not want somebody taking these screws out. They're very, very rare. Very special screws. There we go. Let me get this in there. So, and this, I know everyone says this, but trust me when I tell you, it just takes time. If you rip at these and tear them up, you're not going to have rubber feet at the end there. So just go slow. They're stuck on there pretty good, which is a good thing. And they'll re-stick pretty good. So don't worry about that. Just keep them away from dust. Keep them clean. Oh, perfect. Use the suction cup. So basically think of a flat piece of paper. You pick it up from the middle somehow using tape or whatever, and it has a bow. It starts to bow. The edges will bow down, and the middle will bow up. So you're kind of, while you're gonna be using the pry tools or whatever you might have. I suggest getting these pry tools. They came with my kit, but you're gonna be suctioning that middle part or the end part there, and it'll create a little bit of a bow, and then you're gonna be prying on the edges, and it will lift up. It's seated in there pretty good. The screws hold it in, but it clips in, so it snaps into place. So you do have to you see how I'm kind of bowing it there. It's lifting it out of there's like a little slot it goes in, or a little ledge. You'll feel it just kind of start to break free. Be very, very gentle and work. Just be patient. I just worked as slow as I could. I try to take my time. as much as possible on this, but eventually it releases. It's good to go. But just take your time. Don't break anything. If you feel like you're struggling with this, again, I would just, if it were me, I'd rather just take it in. You know, you don't want, the last thing you want to do is break the case. So now once we're there, once we're in there, tighten the hinges. The hinges are to the top right and to the top left. You'll see by the little, not the copper piece with holes in it right there, right above that, you'll see those two screws need to be tightened. Mine were pretty tight, so I didn't have to tighten them too much, but don't torque them down 100 foot-pounds or anything like that, but make sure they're tight. That's the actual hinge for your screen. And that is the battery clip. The little chrome piece right there just slides back. So you just push it back and it'll release that tab there, and then you can just pull it out. Just be very gentle with everything. And putting it back is going to be a little tricky. So when it goes back, you're going to have to work it in there a little bit. So just be patient. So I'm cycling the power. I just want to make sure that the battery, that there's no power going to anything. The last thing you want to do is short anything out. I mean, it's possible that you can short, especially if you're using metal tools in there. So I just want to make sure that there is no power going to anything. You never know. So I just cycled it. I cut it for time's sake, but I held the power down for about 10 seconds. I just wanted to make sure it didn't turn on or there wasn't any excess power lingering around somewhere. But I'm taking these screws off and I put the screws in order that they came. I do this because sometimes from the factory they cross thread them, or they do something wrong, and if you try to put another screw in that screw hole, it doesn't quite go in the same way, and I don't feel like messing around. I just don't. If that screw came out of this hole right here, I want to put that same screw back in. So that little piece of tape right there is holding down, I believe that is the fan power cable. It's holding that down, holding it in place. You need to remove the tape, but we're gonna reuse that tape. It's stuck to the old battery. We need to take it off that old battery and put it on the new battery. And then we're gonna take this ribbon off. Even after the screws are off, it's on there kind of good. So be gentle with it. Again, use the pry tools whenever you can. But it comes off. Just be patient. I noticed with this whole doing this, I did it really slow, and it came out good. I didn't have to worry about anything. Once it's all done, the battery will just come right out, and just check the numbers there, C31N1602, so we're good. And again, dust it out. It's going to be filthy in there. Well, anyway, this one, I read the reviews on some of the older ones, and I guess there were fitment issues with the screw holes lining up, and I didn't have any of that. They were perfect. I was very impressed with this. So right now I'm just measuring with these. I couldn't tell I couldn't see. So I couldn't tell if it was going over or if it was going over it, if it was a male or female. So I basically had to measure with the calipers, and I found out that piece goes inside. The ribbon itself is a male, and it goes inside that piece, which was just female. So make sure it clips in there, because I had it in there a few times and it wasn't actually connected. And you can still screw it down, so just don't do that. It's not going to work. So I really had to focus. I tilted it to the side. I did everything to make sure it was in there perfectly. So now we're putting that tab. I plugged in the battery, putting the metal tab on there, but it's not going, that tab's not moving far enough. See, it's over there a little bit. Now it's over more. So what I had to do is I pushed down. I had to push down on the white plastic piece of the battery plug-in. That metal piece would not go over. It wouldn't budge. So I had to push down on the plastic right there to the left. And then I was able to slide the metal piece over it, and now it's capturing it. If you don't do that, it's not capturing it, so keep that in mind. And here's the overview of everything I had to use to get that done, but we're almost done. It's took a bit. Took me a bit to do it. I had to take care of babies in between this, and it was just rough, really rough, to stop every 10 minutes. Taking care of twins is a rough business, the toughest job I've ever done in my entire life, but still trying to get things done here. But there's the middle one. Remember that middle one we said is the longest. So you want to make sure that you get the longer one, put it right in the middle there. And just make sure they go, don't strip these. I always go in reverse until they catch, they get even, and then I start tightening them down, and it works pretty good. Just make sure you don't strip them. I don't even know where you'd get these screws at. I'm sure it's not too difficult today because you can get anything nowadays, but anyway, it's done, and it works. It works really, really well, man. I was really, really shocked. I was kind of afraid it wasn't going to work. There's my truly ergonomic keyboard. But 55%, it works, it charges, it works like it was supposed to, like it was intended to work. You can see the levels of the keyboard. This is a writing keyboard, so these keys light up, and they have, I think, just 3 different levels of brightness, and it cycles perfectly. So it's all a mess we got to clean up, but it's done. So again, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and share if you can. Thank you.